Namaste, dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10 coming to you live from our offices in Norbury, Southwest 16, where we talk about property every day. We're estate agents, James Alexander, and we're based in Norbury, which is between Streatham and Croydon. Streatham to the north, Croydon to the south, Zone 3 commuting area that you should consider if you're thinking of investing or perhaps first-time buyer looking for somewhere commutable and friendly. So how are you? Hope you're well today. And where did the summer go? Have you noticed? It seems to have gone. We're like coming in the office and we're all saying, did you actually have any barbecues this year? And I'm struggling to remember the sunny days already. There seem to have been so few of them. And we were just saying, like, has there been a worse summer than this? It's been quite shocking, hasn't it? I think you need to get on a plane, but then can you get on a plane now with all the troubles there? Hope you're doing well today. As usual, we're talking about property, a few things in the property headlines. We report stuff to you every day in a sort of snapshot of what's going on in the local national press and any other headlines that are property related. Really, if you're interested in property, then you're in the right place. If you'd like more information, then we do have a podcast. Just look out for the Property Buyer and Sellers podcast on your favorite platform. A few headlines for you today. The first one is that home sales are set to be their lowest since 2012, according to Zoopla. And it shows the number of homes sold over this year is on course to be the lowest for 11 years. Sale completions in 2023 looked set to fall 21% year on year to 1 million. And that's the lowest since 2012. And it also suggests the annual house price growth will slow to 0.1%, otherwise known as zero. And the chief executive there said that the house price growth slowed rapidly over the last year as demand weakens in the face of higher mortgage rates. They said that over the last 4 weeks, demand was 34% lower than the same period last year. Well, that's true. But also, to be fair, the level of supply is that much lower as well. So that's why we haven't seen, they're saying that growth is nil, but actually they're not saying it's gone backwards. And that's the funny thing is where there's a lack of supply and there are still people looking, as long as there are more buyers out there than sellers, then this result can be surprising and somewhat skewed in certain pockets. There's certain properties that are very popular that have been less impacted by what's going on than others. As far as the market's concerned locally, we're finding that still we've got good demand for 3-bedroom housing specifically. Flats a little bit tougher, and we expect that there'll be more flats coming up to the market because of the buy-to-let exodus, which seems to be continuing as people come off their fixed rates that are landlords, especially the accidental landlords that perhaps went into property a couple of years ago instead of selling and are now finding that their rents are way below their mortgage payments. And mortgage lending has fallen as well, according to City AM, the Mail, the Express and the Mirror. And they show there's been a decline in lending, with lending for house purchases down 28%. No great surprise there, given the last headline, is there? And HSBC are offering a 40-year mortgage. Can you imagine 40 years of mortgage payments? It's quite an awful thought, really, isn't it? They're calling it a marathon mortgage. By the way, it's not financial advice. If you want financial advice, seek out an independent financial advisor. We're just here to give you information. They're saying that mortgages are on the rise that are called marathon mortgages of 40 years or more because some buyers are finding it difficult. Of course they are, because 25 years is just not enough to actually make the payments. Obviously the payments go down if you extend the term, and the longer term will be available for both residential and buy-to-let mortgages. Smaller lenders have offered 40 mortgages before, but HSBC's entry to the market may signal a shift towards longer mortgage terms becoming mainstream. The number of first-time buyers opting for a 35-year plus mortgages has risen from 2% in 2005 to 19% in 2023. That goes to show about affordability, and something we've been saying for a long time is, you oldies out there like me, saying to your children, when we were younger, interest rates were 15%. Well, that's true, but actually housing is so much less affordable now that truthfully, the young people do have it harder than we had it, even when those interest rates were high. On the rental side, we've got homeless families evicted as landlords shun temporary housing. There's a new survey has found between 22 and 23 across 15 boroughs, landlords submitted notices to quit for 3,500 tenants in temporary accommodation. That's more than double. It doesn't really surprise. Shelter said councils cannot keep picking up the pieces of this national crisis. It's now beyond urgent the government fixes this mess. Well, they say that, but the bottom line is they're not building enough houses, and it's going to take a massive change in policy and attitude. The problem is you've got these housing ministers, they're in post for about a minute and then they change. I really do think that you should have someone in charge of housing policy that's cross-party, that's perhaps elected, maybe every 5 years, because the problem is you get a new person in, they jump in with these fresh ideas, which last about 5 minutes, and then they realize they can't solve the problem. We need longer term strategies and thinking when it comes to housing policy, because we do need more housing. We need to invest in new housing. And also we need to encourage the smaller landlords, who are the backbone of the UK rental market, into the market rather than taxing them out of it. And it's going to take a generation before the realization of that, I think. But I think eventually it will go full circle. An MP has called for an interest rate rise pause. This is John Barron, another MP fixing the housing market, of course. Well done, John. But actually, he's got a point here. He's a member of the Commons Treasury Committee, and he believes the Bank of England may be able to stop raising interest rates if inflation continues to slow. He said there is a risk of overshoot. Well, I'd agree with that, adding that the bank has had to raise rates much quicker than it should because of it's been so far behind the curve. Pauses are now needed to assess the impact, given the 6 to 9 months typical time lag in rises affecting the economy. He added the bank's rate-setting committee risks compounding its original error by raising rates yet again. Well, we've got until September until the next rate rises or otherwise are announced or hold, because the Fed in America are raising rates by the looks of things. That will impact over here because it's likely we'll follow them. Inflation has a much smaller inflation problem than we do, but they're still determined to get it on course by raising rates yet again. So I think we may be in for another interest rate come September. I hope we're not. And I do hope that they give it some time to assess, because people are struggling right now and they don't need it any harder than it is. And I do think that the impact of this will be felt. And at some point, we'll go through the whole cycle, won't we? We're going to end up in a position where we're in recession, no doubt. And then following that recession, what will happen? We'll need to lower interest rates in order to stimulate growth, because no one's got any money. And I can see that going right round in a circle again. Will it go back down to the ultra low rates we've seen now? I think that was a moment in time, a magical moment in time that many of us thought would last forever. And I don't suspect it's coming back anytime soon. As far as the market's concerned, particularly quiet week, this one, just after the bank holiday, a lot of people still away, so don't be surprised if your home's on the market and it's not getting massive traction right now. That's to be expected. It does come back quite strongly in September, but it's a very fine window. So make sure you're with the right agent. It's a great time to consider coming away from your agent if your agent hasn't done a great job and you've been on the market a while and it's just languishing there. Why? Well, when you go to Rightmove with your existing agent, even if you change the price, you will not come up as a new instruction. If you change agencies, then you do come up as a new instruction. This does generate more traction and more interest and more eyes across the page, if you will. So well worth considering that. Also, a new agent can come with new perspective, fresh ideas, fresh enthusiasm, which you might find is lacking in your current agent. Agents are human beings too. And if the property's been on the market for a long while, sometimes they get a bit tired of it too. And as much as we try and be as enthusiastic as possible with every instruction, over time, that enthusiasm can wane and you need a new agent to come in with a fresh attitude and a fresh mindset and a determination to beat the last agent by doing the best by their client, so that they can get those 5-star reviews on Google and all agents and the like, because that's what drives small agencies like ours, is the feedback we get if we do a good job. So we're always determined to do the very best we can for our sellers. And remember, as a small agent, unlike some of the corporates, they're going to get paid anyway, get a star on the board for another instruction or a board up. We only get paid when we actually sell your home, and that's how we eat. So we do have motivation to do it outside of that. But it's not just that. We're all about the quality and making sure that we get it right for you, because that's what's going to make a difference to our business and your lives. And we really do get into that side of things. We like to understand what it is, the reason that you're moving, how we can help, and try and get ourselves into your mindset, almost helicopter out of our own mindset and think, right, with John now, he's trying to move to another area, smaller place. He's got this place. How can we get him from there to there in the most efficient way so he can get the most possible for his property and then buy for the most efficient or lowest price possible as well? And that's what we try and do, provide advice both ends, even as far as negotiating the sale, because we're also retained a lot of the time by buyers as opposed to sellers. We have a situation where sometimes buyers will retain us on a sole agency fee to find a property for them, and therefore we're at the other end of the transaction. We're very used to dealing with other estate agents, trying to get the very best deal for our clients by just having a professional chat with them, trying to get to the bottom of where their vendor's at, what we can do in order to make sure our vendor gets the best possible deal. So when it comes to buying and selling, we've got your back. Give us a call, 0208 679 8601. Drop me an email, ken@jamesalexander.com. Hope you're having a good day so far. Weather here is just starting to come out of that cloud now. A little bit of sunshine peeking through, but I think the summer's gone, sadly. I hope I'm wrong. Oh, by the way, if you've got nothing to do tonight, there's not much on the telly. Honestly, it's quite boring. Come to Charing Cross Hospital, which is in Hammersmith, not Charing Cross. Free jazz between 7:30 and 9:30 with my wonderful band, the Fulham Big Band. And we'll be there from 7:30 to 9:30. It's free. We're in the foyer. So just come in, sit down and enjoy. We'd love to see you there. If you have got time and you're bored, please join us. We'd be delighted to see you. And it's all in aid of the hospital charity. So give it a go. You never know. You might enjoy yourself. What have you got to lose? Absolutely nothing. What have you got to gain? Some great jazz. Give it a go. Have a great day. Thanks for watching as always. Look after yourselves, your family and friends. Ciao.